Welcome to this 17th video community of practice meeting. I am Pankaj Agrawal, founder of Next Software Solutions and working group leader of this community of practice. Let's review the last meeting and see what we need to do related to the vocabularies and what we had discussed. So last meeting we had a discussion on scene, and we decided that we should remove it unless there is a strong use case in future. So for now, scene is not something that we would probably need. If there is a strong use case, we can add it back if required. So at the moment, scene activity type is not required, so we can remove this. Another thing was discussed was the bookmarks. So as you have already removed it, apart from that, few changes that we had to make. One was that we had to change the time extension to from context to result extension. So currently time is in context here. We have to move to result extensions. We also added this heat map extension. So this was added. We had discussed in a previous meeting, but forgot to add this extension earlier. And yes, I have to add some descriptions. So this is what we discussed in the last meeting. Apart from this, we also discussed about how we'll track heat map and completion. So one new thing that came up was due to a confusion that, let's say, a user launches a video and doesn't complete it in the same setting. So should a completed verb be sent? Let's say if he watches half of the video in this setting and tomorrow he comes back and completes the rest of it, should we send a completed verb for that? And the conclusion was that we should use the registration property in the xAPI spec that we have. So the xAPI says registrations of a learner experiencing a particular activity, and there is a registration UUID property in a statement. So we decided that we'll use the registration property, and if the registration is same, we'll assume that the attempt is part of a specific user registration, and in that case, if he completes the entire video in even if in multiple setting during a single registration, when the registration ID is same, we'll send a completed verb if all parts of the video is watched. I think we updated. So I added a comment here. We might need to update this description. Apart from that, heat map also will be updated for every attempt in the same registration. So heat map extension value will be updated from past attempts also if it is part of the same registration ID. This thing. So that this is all discussed in the last meeting. Yeah. But
what is the use case around using a heat map?
so heat
Parts video the actor watched during the current registration in chronological order.
Yeah, so the heat map extension here is the data of what parts of the video user has watched. So if you see this string here, it says that the user started from 0 time in the video. He watched up to the 12 second, and then he seeked to 14 second, and from 14 to 21 he watched the video. He went back to 18 and watched till 30. So it gives each part of the video that was watched by the user, and this data can be easily used to convert to a visual heat map of what part of the video was watched. This extension will contain so this extension will contain the entire string for all the attempts made for this video during the current registration.
Okay. So the purpose is for displaying a heat map for analytics.
Yeah, exactly. So the purpose is displaying the heat map. I think there is an image as well. It was made by Patrick.
Or are there other profiles that are doing something similar?
I'm not aware of. This thing came up very early when we started discussing video COP, and we thought that it was useful. I think Vistia also has a similar heat map. So apart from Vistia, I have not seen a heat map of the videos anywhere else. I don't know where it is. So that is for heat map. So this is what we had in the last meeting. There are few changes that we need to make to the vocabulary that we have here. Apart from that, I think we should also add a spec thing in the GitHub, each part of the video COP spec and how things have to be done. Some explanation might be required for a few things apart from this vocabulary list. What do you say?
No, that sounds fine. I was just curious if that use of the map and extensions is being practiced also. It's kind of more of a common thing, not necessarily unique to file. I've been working on, so let me know which terms I need to update. I'm going to list and just highlight them. I'll be glad to. I published that out as RDFA HTML, but also if you do an HTTP GET request for JSON, it'll return all of these marked up in JSON as well. And
Okay.
something else I've been, what's that? Yep. Something else I've been looking at too.
Yeah.
switch over to my screen. I'll show you something else. Try to apply to the profile that might be useful for you guys in terms of type coercion and specifying values come back, whether it's integer specific.
Your audio is breaking up. I don't know if it is my connection or something else.
No, but I was wanting to start creating some demos of the video profile.
Okay.
Have you guys done? I think I mentioned that on one of our last calls. I don't know if I missed the last one or not, but have you guys been starting to do that at all?
At the moment, we have not started. You said that you'll be talking to, I think, his name is Tyler.
Yeah, well, I didn't get in touch with Tyler, but I did start working with the YouTube xAPI demo we had up there, and what I found was that was rather limiting in terms of the YouTube API. You can only do there's only a few different types of events. You get like pause, stop, play. There's not really good support for seeking and such. And I have a demo working with that, but then I found also a guy that worked for the American Red Cross, and I think Anthony posted a video about a year ago where he was using the JW player. Are you familiar with the JW player? It's kind of like, I guess, the jQuery equivalent for cross-platform video players. That library and API seems to be a lot better for aligning different types of verbs and other pieces of the video profile for tracking. So I've started to work with that a little bit, and I wasn't sure. I was hoping maybe Anthony would be on and he could answer some questions, but maybe I'll just follow up with him via email. But he had like a guy named Philip Gardner had some stuff he had done with xAPI, the JW. Seems like a good library to use to create some of the demos.
Okay. Yeah, possible. I think there are alternative ways to use for YouTube as well, because the demo that Tyler had added, it supports YouTube as well as Vimeo, and it uses a library called Popcorn.js, and that code has support for C.
Okay, so the Popcorn.js library had support for doing other. I don't know. It looks like the JW player was just okay, was expanded upon some this year and support. So I was just curious if anyone had any experience with one or the other.
Okay.
But the base iframe YouTube API just doesn't seem sufficient.
Hi, my name's Philip Gardner, and I'm
a demo of the video profile.
I think when you want to check for seek, it might be reading the value of where you are, and if the value changes, it might be just doing something to identify that if the time changes suddenly is a seek. There is a study that let me see.
Well, the demo that this guy Philip Gardner did, he's already got seek built in, but he was using the skipped verb. So I've updated his example to seek verb and the IRI that you guys created. And a couple other things. I've just been, as I had time to try and work with There's the link, GitHub.
Oh, okay, great.
What he's done. But I replaced the skipped verb with seeked, and that pretty much, I mean, the JW player has a, a seek to, or I'm trying to, it's called seek to function. Then,
Yeah, so some libraries and some players have this as a separate event, and some don't have. There was a study called LACE project. I don't know if you have heard about it.
yeah.
So in this report, he has mentioned some of these events are available and some which are not available, and some suggestions that we so it talks about YouTube and few other players.
Yeah, I remember that coming out. I need to go look at that again.
Mm.
Chat.
Even we have mentioned in videos, most all the events are currently, I think, supported by existing players. Some are directly available, some are indirectly available. So some players also support stop, but most of them don't support. It is just paused, so we don't have a stop here. And some players don't support C. So yeah, mostly it can be done using some tricks if it is not available directly. So
Okay. Well, that's all I had. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, if you want me any new terms, I'll be glad to update that, and I'll continue. Maybe try to work on some examples here and just bounce them off.
okay, yeah. So yeah, it will be good to have some examples using the same vocabulary. Like I was saying, that we should have a description on the GitHub explaining each step, and if there are specific details that needs to be mentioned. So what would be the right term for it? Do we call it a spec, or do we call it something else?
Well, I mean, profile seems to be
Profile.
the term
Okay.
that's always been around in the spec and everything. I mean, CMI5 is
Okay.
a profile. Could
Mhm.
even say it's a profile specification, application specification.
Okay. Okay. So profile. Profile specification, or only profile?
That's fine.
Okay. So
Right. Either one is fine. I think CMI5 uses both, but there's a lot of different profiles. Should be would fit in the profile until we get some more documentation around the right data should be stored. A little bit more detail in terms of the documentation. We can probably expect.
okay. So yeah, I'll create a page for this profile specification where we can add the vocabulary as well as explanation on specific page. It should be the statement should be sent, and if there are specific requirements for those statements, so that it's clear when creating even the demos and people who will be using the vocabulary.
Okay.
Is
Related
there?
to this,
Yeah.
I'm working with Tom Creighton from ADL. He's trying to do some similar things with the SCORM profile. I put a link in there, but he's got the data objects that are kind of classes, in the SCORM profile, and there's specific either properties that you take on or there's certain values. Like a good example for temp state, you set it credit, browse, normal. There's some similar types of restricted data values we want for video profile when you get into like volume. You got an integer range there, and some of the other ones guys have applied. So I think some of the things we're trying to research now and apply, we can come back and apply to the video profile now as well. There's some things you can do with JSON, LD type coercion of lists, ordered lists. Got some stuff working now. I'll try to circle back and apply the same thing profile.
Yeah. Yes, this is a good example. We can take help from here and create. Was this updated recently? This SCORM API profile?
It may have been updated. We're still updating it, so that's what I was trying to say. Is there's some things we're doing to update different values that are associated with different properties. So trying to apply some like JSON LD constraints or JSON schema things to see what because this would help test later on if we test for certain values being sent back in a statement when they're SCORM profile or certain
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to see and a little more about the JSON LD schema.
Okay. Maybe I can give you an update between now and the next meeting and see where we're at.
Okay. Hello.
Sorry, I was just on mute. Yeah, I didn't have anything else.
Oh. Okay, so I think we can end this meeting here. We don't have much attendance and nothing much to talk about today, and I think we also have a little bit of technical issues. The audio is breaking up and we had some problems today, so maybe we can end it today and let's see what we can do between the meetings.
It seems like it sounds pretty good usually until whenever you're scrolling or the screen changes, and then it sounds like it breaks up. I don't know that it's on your end. It might be the join me servers.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that it is during the scrolling. Maybe it is taking up more bandwidth or some issues with joining. It could be the internet. Today I'm not at the usual place, so there might be something.
Okay, well, thanks, Pankaj. I'll touch base with you soon offline.
Okay, thanks. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.